Tell me about cars. You've written a book about cars. You've written a book about your...
Oh, I have. Yeah, this is a very little known fact. Yes,
it's a very little known fact, but you actually gave me a copy of it, Boris. That's how I know.
That's how you know it, right? Well, you're one of the tiny proportion of humanity that has a copy of my car, Bottom Gear, as I think. No, what's it called? Life in the Fast Lane.
Life in the Fast Lane.
It should have been called Bottom Gear, but it was yeah, that's right. I love cars. I'm a great believer that the car is one of the most important emancipators of the human race, and probably indispensable for female emancipation in particular. I think that women's liberation, female suffrage, probably wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for the motor car, basically because men realised that women were at the wheel of a machine that could run them down. And in the 1920s, there was just no argument. That was it. It was all over.
I've heard about the car as a kind of, what's the word, a motivator of democracy, because I mean people can move and unemployment became more flexible and so on, I've never quite heard that argument about female emancipation before.
Well, I think it's very. I mean, well, it's very interesting. If you look at in the 1890s, when the suffrage movement really started to get going, the reactionaries attributed it to bicycles. And they would literally, they were so hostile to women on bicycles, they would hang bicycles from trees in order to indicate their displeasure that women were able to use these liberating pieces of technology. But of course, when the combustion engine allowed women to travel actually many miles an hour, and to be in a position of command, I think it became the game was up, the gig was up for male domination, and quite right too.
That's interesting, isn't it? I mean, because one thinks of the car sometimes as a sort of male symbol and all that, so that's very intriguing. Absolutely. Let me switch the subject. Talk about universities. You were talking about universities earlier on this evening. What do you see is going to happen to UK universities over the next, 10, 15 years?
I think our universities are one of the glories of the UK economy. They're one of the things that brings huge quantities of foreign investment, fee income to this country. They have brands that are known around the world. And my hope, speaking for London universities, obviously we will continue to attract huge support from community of people who want to study around the world. The people will continue to want to come to study in London. I hope very much it will sort out our wretched visa arrangements, which I think are inimical to the proper operation of a great university centre such as we have in London. I would hope that Balliol, which is a fantastic brand, and before I applied here, my father said to me that 3 universities, Oxford, Cambridge and Balliol, and you should go to Balliol. And I know this is difficult to imagine now, but I cannot see how we can avoid, with the huge pressures of population that there are in the UK, with the massive demand for Balliol education, with the restrictions on planning permission on space here in Oxford, I cannot see how we can avoid having a multipolar future. There is going to be a future for universities and maybe even for Balliol, where there will be campuses, there will be epigony descendants, there will be offshoots in other parts of the world, and I think that's going to be, it'll be difficult to manage, and I think conceptually we're at the very beginning of working out how it would happen, but it's got to go that way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.